evening and welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. My guest this evening is Cynthia Clegg, who is the Executive Director for the Community Foundation, Middlesex County.
Thank you for getting our name right. You'd be amazed that after 5 years, people still don't get our name right. So we're very, very happy.
I've done this more than once with you.
I know you
How are you?
I am great.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
What's new?
Lots of stuff.
Yeah?
Lots of really good stuff.
Cool.
You know, the Community Foundation is now into its 21st year, so that to me is just amazing. We just had a huge 20th anniversary celebration in November, and so we're just cooking, we're just moving forward and just having an absolutely great year.
Excellent. Now, you said 21st year.
This is our 21st year.
How did the idea of the Community Foundation Middlesex County come about 20 years ago?
Well, you know, here's my saying, we only know good people.
Right.
That's it. So good people 21 years ago figured out that we had wonderful nonprofits in the area, but the one thing that they didn't have in this region was a community foundation. And the Community Foundation, as you know, is set up to be there forever, so that, to support the nonprofits.
Yes.
So believe it or not, people just sat around the table and went, you know, we're going to start a community foundation. And we didn't get started with a big bequest, which is how most community foundations got started. So we're a grassroots effort, and I am happy to say that we've expanded and grown, and we're now a $25 million community foundation.
All right.
I know, because this time last year, or if I were talking about the Community Foundation, I wouldn't be able to say that. So it's fabulous.
Excellent.
It's really good.
It is.
It just means that there's more money for the community, and that's what it's all about.
Now, what types of programs do you guys fund?
You name it, we fund it, as long as it's legal, of course, and as long as the program is set up by set up through a nonprofit organization in good standing. But if you think about all the things that make up a community, a library, a school, a nonprofit, the Shoreline Soup Kitchen, anything that's helping our community, those are the kinds of programs that we will fund.
Now, from what I understand, you and I were talking a little bit earlier today about preparing for tonight. Let's talk about the grant process that you guys have. And you guys actually revamped and added to your process?
We did, and because we grew because we did get a huge bequest, that we asked ourselves, what can we do to make it simpler and easier for the nonprofits, and really make sure that we pay attention to what the donors' intent was for all of our funds. And by the way, we're up to over 250 funds that we manage for our donors. So we have to pay attention to what the donors set up the fund for, as well as what the needs of the community are. So we spent 6 months reviewing our process, and we researched 17 community foundations throughout the country to try to figure out, how do we streamline it, how do we make it simpler for the nonprofits that are applying, and yet still maintain the integrity of the granting process itself.
Okay.
The grants process has started. So the application is live, it's on our website, and what we are doing this year that is different is we are requiring nonprofits who want to apply for a grant to come to the information sessions, because we have made some changes, and we want to make sure that everybody has that information and everybody's on a level playing field. The information sessions take an hour. The next one is August 16th at 9 o'clock at the DeKoven House in Middletown. And really, Thayer on our staff, who's in charge of the grants, she does an entertaining and informational session about the grants process.
Exactly.
So when we now have a streamlined process for grants that are 1,000 and under, because we find sometimes nonprofits only need a little bit of money for a small project.
Right. Now, what happens if someone wants to apply for a grant and they can't make the informational session?
We are all set for that, because the application is due September 13th at 4 o'clock.
Okay. Not 4:02.
Not 4:02. Application in hand with copies. It's all on the website.
Okay.
But if somebody's out of town or they had a family situation, I think we're going to do another information session between August 16th and September 13th, because the application isn't difficult, it's just different. And we don't want anybody to be flummoxed by the newness of what we're doing.
Now, what makes the application different this year than in years past?
Thanks for asking, because what we did was we changed the categories, not necessarily, we broadened them. So you're going to have to think a little bit differently. So we have, for instance, an economic development category in there that we never had before. And so we want people to hear what we meant by the new categories. And at one information session, somebody said, so my library might want to apply for computers for kids who can't afford to have them at home. To me, that's education and economic development, because you're helping a student develop skills that will make them employable. So we want to talk about those categories and give our reasoning for setting up the different categories.
And what are some of those categories?
I am so glad you asked, because I could never remember. So community.
You should do this off the top of your head.
Well, I should, but we have a lot going on.
All
So
right.
community enrichment. So that's arts and culture and history. Before we said heritage enhancement was one, arts was another. So everything enriches our community. Economic security, economic opportunity. That could be the Shoreline Soup Kitchen, where you have economic security. Economic development, I mentioned. Education, of course. Public and social benefits. So civic improvement programs that might go on. For a garden club might do a whole set of gardens around a town. So they're very broader based than they were in the past. Before we had arts, education, human services, heritage enhancement, etc. So we wanted to stretch the concept, and people found it difficult to just be like, am I arts? Am I education? So it's a broader category.
Sort of find out, people are having an issue of finding out, okay, let's see, out of this list, what am I?
But Pete, you know us, so
Right.
you know if people will call, and I'm going to give the phone number, 860-347-0025, anywhere before 4 o'clock on September 13th, we are happy to answer any question
Exactly.
that anybody may have. We don't want people to stress over this.
No, of course not. And what else do we want to talk about the Community Foundation
Well,
and tell people that maybe they don't know?
maybe they don't know, but I think they do, that the only program that we really do highlight is our Bully Free Communities campaign.
Okay.
And this year, I'm really happy to say that we have our chief ambassador in Renee Danino from iHeartRadio.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
And so she has been doing some interviews for us that she will post. Donnie Marshall is coming back as our spokesperson, so he just did some PSAs. And
Really?
our rally for the students in the county and outside the county is October 4th at Empower Leadership Sports in Middletown.
Okay.
And if you get a chance to come on October 4th,
Yes.
you are guaranteed to see 400 plus students having fun, learning leadership skills, learning to be an upstander, not a bystander,
Right.
and really learning how to, and it's lessons learned about being respectful to everybody of all abilities.
And this conference actually, does it happen every year?
Every year. Last year we had 400 plus students. We had a student in a wheelchair, and it was so meaningful to see the students in a circle at an activity. Just open up, bring this young lady in, and include her in the activities, and that's what it's all about. It's a subtle learning lesson, and it's a lot of fun too.
Now, is it always at the same venue every year, or does it
Yes.
flop around?
The first year we got rained out, so we had it at Middlesex Community College.
Oh, there
They
you
were
go.
very gracious. We had a lot of fun, but it's not going to rain this year.
No?
No, I guarantee it's not going to rain.
Okay.
And Donnie Marshall comes and speaks, and then we usually have a student who's been bullied and who has learned how to through the help of his or her friends, learned how to move forward with all of that. So that's our big campaign.
Okay. And you guys also partner, from what a little birdie told me in my ear before, with the Middlesex United Way.
We do.
Let's talk about them.
We do an awful lot of partnering with them. We are part of the Working Cities Initiative along with United Way and multiple other organizations in Middletown. And Working Cities, and we were approved for a grant from the Federal Reserve, which really is to help the working poor become more employable. So that's a big collaborative. And then we get together. Kevin will pick up the phone and say, I've heard about this thing going on, can you help us fund it? Or I'll pick up the phone and say the same kind of things. So it's a real collaborative effort. And I have to say also with Liberty Bank Foundation, they are also,
Exactly.
We're the triumvirate. We just pick up the phone and try to say, how can we help?
And that would be Sue Murphy.
That would be Sue Murphy.
With the Liberty Bank Foundation.
Another good lady.
Oh, exactly. She's usually on with me October, November to talk about their turkey drive.
Oh, that's right.
That
Absolutely.
they do at the branches.
Right.
So usually
Right.
I usually see Sue Murphy about once a year.
Well, she very good lady. You should see her more often than that.
She's a very nice person. I actually
Yeah.
like her. And you mentioned Kevin, so we might as well tell people who Kevin
Kevin is the executive director of Middlesex United Way.
And a great person.
And a great person.
Very
I
well.
told you we only know good people.
Exactly.
There you go.
And how'd you end up knowing Pete Mezzetti?
We only know good people.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. For more, and if people want more information on the Community Foundation in Middlesex County on the website, where can they go and what can they find?
On the website, Middlesex County CF, which stands for communityfoundation.org,
Okay.
and they will find tons of information about our funds and what we do.
Okay. And Cynthia, would you mind sticking around for another segment?
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth.
He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching.
This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Attention travelers. Next Tuesday, a major power outage will cause complete chaos throughout the city. Water, phone, and internet service will be in short supply. There will likely be panic citywide. Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
And welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. Sitting here with Cynthia Clegg with Community Foundation, Middlesex County. Cynthia, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, so we talked about this, that, and the other for the
Our
first
grants
segment.
process, we want everybody to call us. Let me give the number again.
Yeah.
860-347-0025.
Excellent. So we're going to open this segment talking about, I guess there's an event that you guys partner up with the At-Risk Boys Fund coming up. Let's talk about that.
The At-Risk Boys Fund is part of one of our over 250 funds, and
Okay.
so they raise money for quote-unquote at-risk boys, and they do Cruise, Blues, I always get this wrong, Cruise, Blues, and Brews.
There you go.
Say that
You got it
fast
right.
3 times. But it's really a family-friendly, now again, say that fast.
Exactly.
Family-friendly event, and it happens September 29th, rain or shine, at Chester Fairgrounds,
Okay.
from 10 o'clock to 3. The cars, my husband's an antique car buff, so
Okay.
he's in hog
So he
heaven
knows.
when he walks through there. But the music is fabulous. They have lots of family-friendly things, so for the kids, lots of things for the kids to do. They're going to have Sonny, the Clinton police dog, who will be there doing something. Empower Leadership Sports is going to have some activities for the kids to do.
Okay.
They will have the state police there with their dog, or special events, things going on. So lots of interactive things for the family to do. Food trucks. of course, these specialty beers that I don't
crafts.
really know anything about, but
Right.
but anyway, for those people who like that. But the music's phenomenal. Viewing the cars is so special because oftentimes you don't see all of these cars in one place.
Exactly. Now, how did you guys get teamed up with the At-Risk Boys Fund?
They came to us actually.
Okay.
It's a group of volunteers who really wanted to do something for boys. We have, as you know, a fund for women and girls, and we have had that for 16 years now. And so, and the grants that fund gives away really focuses on empowering young women and senior ladies to make sure that they are living up to their full potential. And so this group of people went, well, what about the guys?
Yeah, right.
So they have raised the money and they do a wonderful job. Let me tell you about one of my favorite grants that they gave.
Yes.
It's called the All Pro Dads program, and it's a program in the Middletown schools.
Okay.
It is facilitated by an expert facilitator. Once a month, the kids from the schools come in and they have breakfast, and the businesses donate the breakfast. And the father representative, the person in their family who is their father, it could be a grandfather, it could be an uncle, it could be an aunt, it could be a mom, if it's a single mother, single family. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
You can't get it out.
That's okay.
It is so phenomenal because the facilitator will ask questions and facilitate conversations with the folks there. And then at the end of it, they'll ask the kids to stand up and say what they love about the All Pro Dad. And it's so touching to see what
cool.
the kids will say about that adult in their life, but it's also very touching when it's the reverse and when the adult is asked to say what's so special about the kid.
Wow.
And if you think about it, in this day and age, most kids don't have an opportunity to have that one-on-one conversation with an
Right.
important adult. And so I think that's, to me, was one of my favorite grants that they gave. And the other thing that they've done, which I think is so unique, is they've partnered with our Fund for Women and Girls and focused on families. So they have helped families who are moving from homelessness into their first apartment, and they've co-funded things for families so that they can do some things. And they've co-funded arts programs where kids can learn to express themselves, be they boy or girls. So it's all those important building blocks of a good life that they are trying to do.
Wow.
They
Very
put their
cool.
heart and soul into this, and they've even done research on what it is that the young men who are at risk have to deal with. And so they're trying to educate themselves as much as they can about all of this. And you've got to give volunteers credit if they're going to
Absolutely.
do that.
Absolutely.
So September 29th, Chester Fairgrounds. I really hope people will go. I hope you'll be there
Absolutely.
to see and to enjoy what's going on.
Absolutely.
Rain or shine.
And speaking of enjoying and events going on, I understand the Community Foundation Middlesex County, he tries to say, has a fundraiser, has an event coming up, the one fundraiser of the year.
The one fundraiser of the year is, thank you for thinking of us.
Tell me about
we
it.
only do one, and it will be September 5th, and it's aboard the Lady Catherine, and we will be departing from Middletown. It's called Sail Away. And it's cruise as you look at the views of the beautiful Connecticut River, which is a gem, which is a treasure.
exactly.
So we're very excited about that. It's very casual. We will have a band. I think we'll have a magician. It's just a fun,
Wow.
easy night. You get to see people that you don't get to see all the time, and just sit and relax, but enjoy where you live.
Exactly.
So that's it. September 5th, 6 to 8.
Tickets?
Tickets,
How
please. $100 a person,
okay.
and you will not go away hungry. I promise.
No?
I promise. This will be your dinner,
Really?
and it's all for a good cause.
And all the money goes back to the Community Foundation?
And it goes to help us do even more than we do in the community.
You guys do a lot in the community.
We're really
and you-
busy.
And you guys partner up with a lot of great organizations.
It's all about the partnership. You know, I'm very fortunate to have been selected to be part of a panel discussion at a conference in September.
Okay.
And you always wonder if you do enough, if other community foundations are as busy as we are, or if we're not doing enough. I'm happy to say that we are doing an awful lot of good things in the community, and I've learned a lot from the people that I'm partnering with for this conference, but they've learned a lot from us too, so it's really good.
Now, you guys also partner, I believe, with Habitat for Humanity?
Habitat for Humanity, End in 10. We partner with Compassion Counts. I don't know if you are familiar with that, but that's a group of...
What is Jackie Dunn?
Yes.
Jackie
Doan.
Yeah.
And Gilead and all of the hospital, the
Yep,
organizations
correct.
who are dealing with mental, I like to say mental wellness, because
Yeah.
that's the focus of getting everybody to be mentally well. So we partner with them, and
I was going to say, I had not long ago, I did a show with Compassion Counts. I had Andy,
Schatz?
no,
I don't know. I know lots of Andys,
yeah,
so
he's the executive director for one of the other nonprofits in Saybrook.
But that's
Right.
what's so great. There are so many organizations who will be part of that, and for every forum, another group will take a lead and get the forum organized so that the community will benefit from it. And do you know that we've been doing this for 4 years. We rotate from up county, down county, and have them in auditoriums. And I have to say, for each of the forums, we've had 200 plus people come out, even in the dead of winter. And that says a lot about not only the partners, but also the community.
Wow.
So we're busy.
You are busy.
We are. We love it.
Exactly. What else? What else we got
Oh
going
my
on?
gosh, do I have to really think of something else?
Yes.
All right.
I'm sure you could.
I'm sure that I can.
Go.
So for our Bully Free Communities campaign, and I want to just stress this, we are going to start doing our bus driver training.
Okay.
In the process, we partner with Rushford. The bus drivers will get training on how to identify bullying and how to help the kids who are being bullied and how to help the kids who are, quote unquote, the bullies. So those are the kinds of things we do.
Okay. And I know we talked about it during the first segment. Let's talk about the grant process. If people want to apply, if they're a nonprofit, and how easy the grant process is, and exactly.
We have tried to streamline it. I'm going to give a couple of important dates.
Go for it.
August 16th, next information session, 9 o'clock, DeKoven House in Middletown. So
Okay.
please come because it's required this year. September 13th, 4 o'clock, the grant applications need to be into our office. And honestly, we're not being mean, but we lock the door at 4:01.
Really?
To be fair,
Yeah.
because if somebody's really worked hard to get on time, so 860-347-0025 is our phone number. We'll answer any possible question you might have about our process.
Okay. Now, once 401 hits around on deadline day, after 401, you're done accepting applications, everything's done and completed. What's the next step?
We have 7 grants committees. Those are all volunteers
Okay.
who really work to read all of those applications that we get and score them, and then they come together separately in their groups, and then they will discuss them. If they have questions that weren't answered in the application, we as staff go back and ask the nonprofits for the answers, and then from September through November, we talk about it, and then in November they make their final decisions on who will get an application, and at our December board meeting, the board votes on those.
And then, let's say somebody applies, doesn't get the grant. Do you send a letter, make a phone call of, hey, unfortunately...
No, I personally call everybody, and Thayer helps, but
Yep.
we personally call everyone whether they got a grant or not. If you didn't get a grant, we invite you to come in and meet with us to find out why you didn't get a grant and what you could do to improve for the next round of applications.
Now, if you didn't get, let's say you got a grant this year. Is there a waiting process, or can you apply?
You
the
remember
next
a
year?
lot, Pete. My goodness gracious. So there is a waiting period, and so it's 3 years, 3 consecutive years of getting a grant, and we
Okay.
ask you to take a year off, and then you may come back after that year off.
Now, for grants, what's the least amount you've given out, and what's the most amount you've given out?
The least amount is probably
Roughly, you don't have to give me.
No, it's we've given grants of $50 from donor advised funds, but the smallest grant, which was the most exciting for us, was around $700, and that was for Kids of Chatham now, and they bought a die cutting machine, and that's all they needed. So around $700. The most we usually grant is $5,000. Because we want to spread the wealth.
Wow.
And last year we gave over $632,000 away back into the community, which pushed us over the $6.1 million
Oh my goodness.
in reinvesting in the community. So we're
Exactly.
pleased. So as we get bigger, we're going to give more away.
Exactly. And we've got a little bit more time left, but before we say goodnight, what else do you want to mention to everybody?
I just want to mention that we are surrounded by absolutely wonderful people in Middlesex County, people who donate their time, their money, their efforts to make this place an even better place than it already is. I am fortunate in that I have funding partners and nonprofit partners that are all working together to make sure that they can improve the programs that they do, and I'm very fortunate to have a wonderful staff, and you need to come up and meet
I
our
do.
new staff members. So.
Cynthia Clegg from Community Foundation
Thank you,
Middlesex County.
Pete.
Thanks for coming down.
So good to see you.
You too. On behalf of Cynthia Clegg, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks, good night, and we'll see you next time.